Hello, this is Pete or Kenshin1913, and this is a Perler Bead video. Pretty much, you know, how to make your own Perler beads. I'm going to show you my setup. Yeah, let's get this a little closer. But yeah, I'm going to show you my setup, and I'm going to show you how I do Perler beads. There were a couple people on my Facebook page that asked how you do it, what do you do, and all that good stuff. So I figured I would show you what my setup is, give you some tips and hints, and pretty much go step by step on how I do Perler bead stuff. Now, my method isn't the only method, and it might not even be the best method, but it's a method, and if people want to know how to do it, they can kind of sort of get into it this way. So let's get moving. Alright, so the first thing you're going to need with Perler beads is the actual beads. And as you can see here, I have a big jar full of 11,000 beads, and pretty much they're all in there. They're all mixed up, and this is actually fairly cheap. I think it's like $5 or something. I don't remember exactly how much. But if you want to spend the time organizing and sorting through all these beads, be my guest and purchase these. Now, what I like to purchase is the individual bags. Now, usually these cost about $3 each or something like that, but it's well worth it because you're able to have the beads that you want when you want, or whatever one you want. So when you're trying to think of an idea of what you want to make, it's a good idea to pick up the colors that you need. There's over 50 different types of beads, 50 different colors, so you're going to want to get stuff that coordinates with whatever project you're going to be working on. So the first step is beads. For me, I would pick up these, the individual bags. They're 1,000 each. They're about $3 instead of this, because you're going to be spending a lot more time sorting. So the next thing that you're going to need, obviously after you get the beads, is a board. Now, you can choose various different boards. You can choose this big large board, which I recommend just because due to the fact that I don't do really big projects. I kind of just do NES stuff, and even you know, Super Nintendo and even PlayStation. Most of the characters that I will be doing or eventually will be doing can fit on here with no problem. Now these are a little thicker than these, so it won't warp when you're doing heat. So this is usually what I go with. Every board comes with this Perler Bead ironing board paper, which you'll get, so don't worry. But if you're just if you want to do larger projects, you'll have to buy these boards, which are kind of, they're good. And the nice thing about them is you can connect them together, and you can make, you know, as big as you want the project. So the only problem I have with that is, I remember I was making a project, and if you do the beads here, these are called board lines that you get when you make them. So you got to be careful of that. But usually I like to tend to stick to the big board because I don't really do really big projects. So once again, I'd recommend this, but you can go with this. A little 8-bit character will fit on here, no problem. Okay, so after you decide that you want to actually start doing Perler bead stuff, kind of full-time, or not full-time, but seriously enough, where you're going to be making things quite a bit, I ended up purchasing this big box here. Now it has these little shelves in here. They can pretty much hold about 1,000 beads, which is really nice. Like this one's pretty much full to the brim. This one can hold about 1,000 beads. So what I ended up doing was I bought this thing, and as you can see, it holds 40, so 5 times 8 is 40. And then I ended up purchasing one of these things, which had a bunch of Perler beads in it. And I ended up using the label maker, which if you don't have one, you can always use like a piece of tape and write magic marker or whatever, and just write down each of the colors that are on here. And the one nice thing that you want to do too is if you do have a spare spot down here, which I do, there's like neon colors that they have. I have some of the neon there, but mainly I have clear down there. One thing you would want to pick up if you're doing if you're going to start doing Perler beads is probably some tweezers. Now they actually have Perler bead tweezers on their Perler Bead website, which you can pick up. Those are pretty good. But yeah, so pretty much I coded, or I labeled every single little thing, all the different all the different colors, pretty much. And so that I know what is what, and it's easier to organize, and it's easier to do stuff, you know, like pick out the colors that you're going to be needing. So that is the organization aspect. Pretty much these things, by the way, these are like things you can find at like a hardware store, where pretty much you like store like all kinds of little knickknacks, like nuts and bolts and stuff would go in here, all little things. Because I ended up picking this up at Harbor Freight Tools. Alright, so for the next thing that you're going to need when you're making Perler Bead art is you're going to need an iron. Any old iron will do. Pretty much you're going to need to have it somewhere you can change the settings on it or whatever. You know, and you won't need water for the iron. One other small thing that you might need is a big, heavy book. As you can see, this book is pretty heavy. It's also a really good read, but that's besides the point. Yeah, you need a heavy book. So, and also you might need, what is it? Like a hard surface in order to do the beads, in the essence of like, when you're making them and when you iron them on, you want to make sure to iron it on a hard surface. So like I have granite here, or I'm going to be making it on my dining room table. That's a nice area to do it in. You know, just make sure you have a nice hard surface for when you're ironing something. So let's get started. Pretty much what I'm going to be making is Dragon Warrior 3 boss Zoma. So I'm going to show you the steps on how to do all that. Alright, so you have your perler beads, you have your perler boards, and now you want to make you have an idea, or you want to get an idea of what you want to make with your perler beads. So what I do is I go to Google, and since I'm going to be making a Dragon Quest sprite, I am going to go to, I'm going to look up, I'm going to do Zoma, so I'm going to look up Dragon Quest 3 Zoma sprite. Now there is a sprite sheet that you can get. Let me see if I can find it. I'm just gonna look up NES sprites, and yeah, you should be able to find them. The sprite resourcer. So this is a good website you can go and click on and get various different sprites. So you got all various different games. Once again, I'm only going to be doing 8-bit games right now. You could do whatever ones you want, but I'm sticking with 8-bit just because, you know, I'm not that good yet. So, anyways, if we come to characters, you get like this sprite sheet here. And as you can see, there's a bunch of characters and stuff. But here we have Zoma. So what you're going to do is you're going to save the image as whatever. Then you're going to go into wherever you saved it, which should be in numbers. Heck, you can show in folder. That's even better. So here's the sprite sheet right here. So what you're going to do is open it up. Usually I like to open it up in Paint. Open with Paint. And then you're going to go find the image that you want. Mine is going to be Zoma. And you're going to just zoom in on it. So you're going to come down. And you're going to zoom in on Zoma here. And this is the guy that I want right here. So what I'm going to do is select and take all of this. And then hit crop. And then save this as whatever. Save it as Zoma. Save it as Dragon Quest 3, Zoma. Now I already have a Zoma already saved. And here's something I want to show you too. So if I go into my bead art stuff here, pixel sprites. What I like to do, to be honest, since I do it, let me go into Zoma. So what I like to do is I like to open it up with Paint once again. And let's say that you're making a character who has a weapon or something. What I like to do is I like to Control A, select all, and then I like to rotate the guy. because here's the thing. If you rotate it, depending on what, like I like looking at the flat side. So I would rather rotate it so that you're pretty much making it a mirror image of it, and then when you iron it, you'll actually have what you want on whatever side. I mean, if you want the bead part, you probably won't rotate, you probably won't flip it, but I actually like the flat version, so I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what I mean in the ironing process. But yeah, so I'm actually just going to keep it the way it was and keep it like this. And this is Zoma right here. So what you got to do after you get your image is you want to go to my favorite website, mypixelpal.com. Now mypixelpal.com is a really good website where you can throw in images, and it'll come up with what the exact pixels. Now it's not 100% accurate, but it is fairly accurate. So what you do is you throw in your little image. You have to make sure that it's pretty small, because if you make a really big one, it'll act like, I'll give you an example. If you throw in this block here and then you hit submit, look at how many. Do you see this? This is crazy. This is the size of it. Look at this. Do you see how many pixels you would need? This is insane. And look, you need 90,000 beads. That's because I believe the resolution of this thing is so good that it like screws it up, but whatever. So what I try to do is just with the file sizes, you're gonna have to just fart around with them. Like let's see what the properties are. So yeah, this is 23 gigabytes, and then Zoma down here is 2 megabytes. Oh, so I guess it's, I don't know. Oh no, I didn't click on it. Properties. There we go. It's not even, it's 4 gigabytes. So there you go. So let's put Zoma in, and I'll show you what I do. So you submit. If you do it correctly, you should have something that looks similar to this, right? Now, if you want, you can use Perler, which is this template, this palette of colors. You can use that if you'd like, but what I like to do, because sometimes the colors don't look right to me, so what I like to do is I like to change it to Perler, and then there's one down here, correct. I don't know, if someone finds something a little different, let me know, but I feel like this might actually be the color of what you want. So I really use this website to kind of give me pinpoint accuracy and all that good stuff into making our Zoma. So I'm going to be making Zoma, so let's get going with that bead thing. As you can see, the colors I'm going to be using is, you don't have to worry about magenta, you don't got to worry about black, just got to worry about purple, hot coral, and peach. Alright, so as you can see, we're going to start here, and I'm just going to show you a couple techniques, or things. So anyways, one of the things you can do is, technique-wise, is you can kind of start in one area. As you can see, I'm starting in Zoma's head, and I'm just going to work my way down. But there's all different ways you can do it. This guy is pretty symmetrical, so he won't be too bad. You do use the tweezers to fix some things. But yeah, you can also do it line by line if you wanted to. I'm not that good, so I'm just going to do it this way. I hope you enjoy the music too. So yeah, I had my cat bother me as well. You might see Marshmallow here. But yeah, now I'm working on his shoulder. So you could do it it all depends on how your brain works. Like mine, I have to switch it up every once in a while and change it around. I can't just be working on one thing. And there's Marshmallow there. But yeah, over here I do make a mistake. No, not over here. But yeah, so nice thing about this guy is he's fairly symmetrical. Although his like scarf thing that goes down, or his like necktie or whatever the hell it is. See, now I'm doing the line by line thing. which you could do, but it's not my cup of tea. I think the reason why Zoma probably really tough is because of the middle. The middle part is a little tricky. So now I decide to just go down. And sometimes I like to do that just to see how big this guy's gonna be. But yeah, now I'm working on making his like little scarfy thing in the middle. And yeah, now it's just purple and white or cream going through this whole thing. And yeah, you're gonna want the tweezers when you're doing something this specific. And I decided to switch to a different angle because my camera ran out of space. So we just fill this all in with purple. And yeah, I am left-handed, so I was doing that all right-handed, which made it a lot harder to do. It hurt my hand. Now I'm doing it left-handed, and there you go. But yeah, so now this is another technique you could do, which is pretty much, what is it? It's pretty much do the outline, then fill in the middle. That's another technique you could do. It really all depends on how your brain works and how you feel like you should be doing it. But yeah, my hand is in the way, so you really can't see anything, and I apologize. That's what lefties, you gotta deal with that. But yeah, so I just fill in everything here, and I really do, yeah, I should have thought of that. But left-handed, I was going real quick, so I was like, I gotta do this. Now over here, I ended up making a mistake. Everything on the left border needs to be moved in one. So I kind of screwed up, and I will fix it. And I'll show you how you can kind of fix it a little easier. So I was like, what is going on here? I had to use the tweezers to figure out what was happening. And always have your image, I'm going to put it in the corner there, but always have your image like there to consult in case you screwed up, which I did. But it's good to show the mistake just so you know how to fix everything. So pretty much I'm just tweaking everything over one bead line to the right. And fill in everything else, and then we'll be done. Alright, after, long time, we've got Zoma ready, and now we're going to iron him. Alright, we have Zoma, and now what I'm going to do with my iron here is I'm going to put it up. I put it up to 5, which is a little above the medium. There's 7 settings. So what we need to do is take our Perler Bead ironing paper or whatever. You can use ironing paper if you want. And this is the first time I'm going to do this on granite. So hopefully it won't mess up too much, but you just gotta let the iron warm up, and then we're gonna melt the beads. I guess it doesn't really matter which side, but I like to just flatten it down. So I have a method that I like to use when I'm ironing the beads. Is I like to do the one-sided method, in the essence of I just get one side melted, because I feel like if you like it melted, that's cool, but if you like having it like with the holes where you can see the holes, it'll be on the other side. So that's usually what I do. So we're just gonna wait for the iron to warm. Alright, now we're gonna iron this thing. The iron's warmed up. Let's move this crap. There we go. Anyways, so what you want to do is just place the iron gently down. Do not push. And what I like to do is I just kind of circle. Do little circles. And just start to iron on the heat here. So I like to keep it above average just because it helps melt quicker and get everything all going. Usually you do like a medium heat, but I like getting a little warmer. But yeah, you just slowly go over all this. And yeah, this was probably, Zoma was probably a bad idea to do because he's just so big and so large. And I should have just done something a little easier to show you. But I was planning on making Zoma anyways, so it's all good. But as you can see, like, some of the holes down here, they're starting to slowly shrink because of the heat. And it's melting everything. So you just want to kind of slowly go over it in a circular motion. If you know where like the heat, the real like heat is coming from in your iron, you might want to like focus on putting that part in the way of the area of the beads and whatnot. So you just want to keep going and just slowly do this back and forth, and just get them all melted. So I like to get one side all melted, or at least, you know, mostly melted, because, you know, I can't get it all melted. And then I like to, let's see, because you don't want to let it heat too much, otherwise you're going to warp your board too. Like, this is almost ready. Just look around and make sure you're getting exactly what you want out of it. If you want to keep it a little more open, you can do that. But I like to do this. So it looks pretty good to me. So what I'm going to do is shut off the iron. I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip it, and we have Zoma here. And I'm going to slowly jiggle it off the board if I can. I don't know how this. Yeah, there we go. So now what I'm going to do is place a big old heavy book right on top. And I'm going to pound it. And now I'm just going to let that cool. And once it's cool, it'll pretty much stay flat. As you can see, the board is a little warped. But if you just kind of let it do its thing, it'll actually go back to the way it's supposed to. So I'll show you what it looks like at the end when it's all done and cooled down. Alright, so here is Zoma. As you can see, this is the hole side where you can actually see the holes and all that. And then on the other side, this is the more flat side. So it really all depends on what you want to do. I hope this was a pretty good tutorial on Perler Bead stuff. And yeah, so this has been my tutorial on how to do your own Perler Bead things and how to get started and all that. So I hope that helps. I hope people enjoyed. And yeah, go out and make your own cool Perler Bead things. So this has been Kenshin 1913 or Pete. And I'll see you later. Bye-bye.